looks more similar to the one they ran in game number 1. When you look over at TSM, a lot of very major changes to how this game is going to play out for them.
Hype!
Hype!
I9! Into the game we go. All right, so I would say all is on the line here in this game number 2 for TSM, but of course they have that lower bracket available if they were to fall there. And I think I speak for both of us when I say Tundra just looked pretty god tier in that game number 1.
They definitely did. Some of the things that made them that successful have been removed here, though, right? They don't have... I feel like the Doom as well as Bad Rider really piloted that game for them. And this time around, they're going to have to get a little bit more creative. I think it's less clear-cut how you initiate fights with this lineup.
Yep.
You only have one truly good Inkswell pairing in the Pangolier, who doesn't really initiate in the same way as a Blink Doom or a Blink Lasso does. He needs more wind-up time. And I think this time around as well, TSM FTX, don't underestimate the vision game. They're going to have more information to go off this time. They have TA traps as well as Night Stalker to have more information than the opponent, especially at nighttime. And perhaps with that, they can be the ones initiating. Because really, that was the problem in game number 1. They were the ones getting initiated on for pretty much 20 minutes straight. Like, almost every successful move came from Tundra getting the jump. And they just don't want to have to deal with that this time, so they've moved things around in the draft.
Yeah, and kind of piggybacking off what you're saying with this Inkswell, I think Inkswell's not that good on Pango, actually, because, I mean, you swashbuckle in, let's say. You don't want to do that to begin with. You want to get your Rolling Thunder off, which leaves you susceptible if you're, I mean, if you're stunning multiple targets with Inkswell, sure, but I mean, looking at this lineup for TSM, there's a lot of counteract they have for something like that. So you have to be quite careful. They don't have the instant hex like last time, but the coil is just the bane of Pango's existence. He can't do anything once he's coiled up.
Yeah, they do have that counterplay that the panel talked about where you cast Inkswell to allow him to get out of the coil when you have that shard.
True.
But it still takes some time, right? Like, you need to wait for that to build up over 3 seconds, and then you get out, and then finally you get to escape. And by then, the damage might already be done, or even if you do survive, you are kind of out of resources to re-engage with, so it's kind of like a pseudo-kill, right? So it's still going to be a really good counter regardless.
But it's a different type of game in general, right? It's not an aggressive use of the spell as opposed to last game.
For sure. It's very, very different in nature coming out from Tundra here. Curious to see how the bottom lane goes. Like the panel talked about here, Enchantress can do very well against Necrophos in lane. I would say TA is a relatively good laning partner here because she has a lot of single target damage, and obviously Necrophos would love to use Ghost Shroud, but you can just get that enchanted off. Dubu has skilled heal level 1 to just be able to trade with the enemy lane, and he will skill enchant level 2 and look for a good creep whenever possible, of course.
And that's his classic hero as well. I mean, we've seen him on several heroes this tournament, but I feel like when I bring up the name Dubu, most people cringe in fear because of the Enchantress that he plays. Just so good at micro, so good at just tanking.
I thought they cringed
lots of damage.
They cringed because of how loud he yells in pubs sometimes on people's screens.
Because he is dead silent in these like anytime the cameras, he doesn't even give Cyberlight high five as Dubu, speaking of which, will find the first blood on 33's Necrophos. Not expected kill there.
Yeah, and look at how much experience 33 is losing as well. I think 3 or 4 creeps were denied, or at least the experience went to Soxa here, so Necrophos is going to come back with a huge disadvantage in experience now. Level 2.5 on Ench as well as TA. Necrophos just barely just crossed the bar for level 2. And that means their level 3s will come out significantly earlier, and a little more burst damage and a good creep for Ench could lead to a second kill in this lane. So Soxa really needs to be well positioned to try to help him. Top lane snaking is fine, Shannon. Don't get too excited.
I was going to say, what are you saying, Cinderin?
Snaking is killing Moonmeander with Skitter. Got you. Don't get too excited. He's not going to.
Playing the position 4. I feel like this joke has been told many a time by you. It gets funnier each time, as you can tell by my laughter right now. Talk to me about Necrophos in general this patch, because he was played a lot in the last patch, not so much this time around. I mean, the regen was changed with the Reaper Scythe for the patch, and I actually forgot about this death heal being slightly nerfed as well. But it doesn't feel like the biggest nerfs overall for the hero.
Is Dupe? Wait, never mind. Dupe
He's actually stuck. Yeah,
he's blocked by one creep.
Dead. That melee creep really going to town on him. That's the most emotion he's shown at this tournament so far.
And Timato didn't have a quelling blade. They actually couldn't cut him out. He was just literally stuck there. None of them had tangos and no quelling. Just really
very
unfortunate to get caught there. As for Necro in general, I would say no. Oh, hang on.
Yep,
Bottom
the
lane,
shackle. Tomato's in a little bit of trouble. You can see the TP coming in from Duba. The refraction is popped, but instantly taken off. That early earn charge here. He will live, but I mean, this feels like 33 is starting to get a little bit better control of this lane now.
That kill on Dubu is pretty important. Like it could have started looking grim, but they get a little bit of a freebie there with the creep blocking, and that's going to be a big help. Necro in general, I would say one of the hero's biggest weaknesses is he's one of those heroes that's super dependent on not playing against Dispel in the right situation, right? If you can remove the Ghost Shroud, he can be very just frail. He doesn't do particularly well against Vessel, which is a popular item now as well. And Nullifier is the bane of his existence, which a lot of carries and cores in general don't necessarily mind buying when the game gets into the later stages. But some lane matchups for Necrophos are really good. I wouldn't say this is one of them necessarily, but he's doing okay. And he can be very strong in that mid-game portion when he starts getting 1 or 2 key items.
And we see in the mid lane in terms of CS, 9 versus Bryle, 35-4 on the puck, 35-2 on Pango. So actually a wash, which I would say is good news for Pango, if anything. I feel like he could struggle more than a lot as Soxa bot lane. We'll get off the shackle, but he's the one taking the brunt of the damage right now. A couple more right clicks will do. He pops the wand. Staying alive a little bit longer, but Dubu eventually finds that kill. So second one for TSM in this game.
Yeah, coming in with that Alpha Wolf, so much damage.
And they're not stopping here. Never mind, they are. Coil expended in the mid lane. You can see Bryle with the level advantage, but it looks like Pango's just fine. Snaking TP's in. Inkswell is there as well, but they're not going to have enough to get a kill either way as the bottle fairing continues here. Soxa coming in. And they had that little window where 9 was not level 6. I mean, either way, Coil is just such a good counter to the hero anyway, but just not enough damage from TSM this time around.
Well, they might find Bryle, though.
Bryle, yeah, you get the Hex is there, Shackle as well. First Rolling Thunder is going to prove to be enough as Soxa ends up netting himself a kill in that mid lane. Skeeter getting chased now by Saberlight under this tower. He's very little mana to work with. Gets off the Mystic Snake. It doesn't really do that much, though. And he's just right-click down into Oblivion. 2 tanky-ass targets against that Medusa in the top lane.
Yeah, both teams taking full advantage of the support rotations, right? You have the Shaman cutting in mid and killing the puck, but with both Shaman and Grim TPing mid to try to cover the Pango earlier, that leaves the Medusa very exposed up top, and TSM identified that and go immediately. And they're getting some serious damage on this top tier 1, by the way. 6 minutes in, Night Stalker has taken 2/3 of the enemy safe lane tower. That's very good news for them.
Yeah, Saberlight continuing to be a nuisance. I mean, talk to me about Night Stalker.
Oh, Bryle, not again.
Okay,
oh, quick sign.
Bryle gets off the orb. Looks like he's fine. Talk to me about Night Stalker this game, because another hero that it feels like in some games he's just destined to take over. Is this one of those?
Not necessarily. I think the hero is pretty good here, though. I like him together with Puck. I think they're a strong dynamic duo in the mid game where Puck can really set you up to be able to stay on your targets, or you can play the heroes together where one of them zone controls and the other one does the damage. Well, Skeeter is in trouble again.
He is. Gets a little bit of mana back, but 9 has come to play. Moon Meander looks to be dead. As you can see, Saberlight continuing to chase, but Skeeter looks to be fine. Saberlight pops that ult, but he's going to get chased by the Rolling Thunder of 9. Of course, Saberlight with the vision advantage. Looks like he's going to be A-okay, but good rotation from Tundra to get that kill onto Moon Meander.
Huge that 9 arrives there, or that just gets ugly really fast for Skeeter, but they cover him. Bottom lane, 33. He's level 5 against level 78.
Bryle has come. Waning Rift. A couple more right clicks. Gets off the Death Pulse. He will survive. Earn after. Now Soxa with that shackle onto Puck. Full duration. Does get off the face at the last moment, though. And they should be able to pick up Soxa. Coil is expended onto 2. Can they actually get a kill, though, is the question. Snake King dies in the other lane as Bryle gets hacked into the shackle and the Death Pulse. A nice turnaround from Tundra as Tomato still cannot secure himself a kill. Reaper Scythe not quite enough to finish off Tomato, but the tower is. Tundra coming out way on top there, but they lose their Medusa in the top lane simultaneously.
And they lost the Grim as well, so this turns into a 2-for-2, but given how that started, that could have been a total disaster for Tundra. They could have easily lost 3, if not all 4 heroes very, very close in the bottom lane.
9 back into the mid lane. You can see in terms of net worth, top of his team. And going back on your thought on Night Stalker, I don't think you got to finish that.
Yeah, so he's good with Puck for the reason I mentioned, but I also think some of the matchups in this game are really interesting. I think the hero can be good against Necrophos, which was what they ended up picking it into. So he's probably not too mad about that matchup. As for Pango, if he's not rolling, you can blink on top of him with the sounds. You have like no way of repositioning yourself, can be very annoying. And more than anything, I still think the vision and the ability to find the support so that he and Puck can get the job done with maybe a burst from the TA, just to get a man advantage immediately so you can start snowballing. Because that's what your lineup does. It doesn't have the most control in the world. It doesn't have the most amazing damage output in the world, but it does have that ability to get the first pick.
Yeah, nice turnaround here we saw from earlier. And 33 very happy with that, as sounds like a Reaper Scythe actually went off, but no kill to come. Sox that looks to be mega dead, but 9, creating some space with that Rolling Thunder. Will find Bryle into the Swashbuckle. It is enough, 1 for 1, but core for support. Make it 2 supports instead. But really the big kill was on the Bryle.
I think Tundra is still happy with that 1 for 2 exchange. They got the mid-tier 1 tower with the snakes. And the 2 heroes they lost were supports for the enemy mid. You get some space now for Skeeter, who is having a much harder game than he was in game number 1. Keep that in mind. This Medusa is very, very far behind the TA. Fortunately for Tundra, Bryle is having a tough time, so they have a similar advantage on mid with their Pango matchup. But it feels like Puck should be able to still find some pretty major
walks
impact.
right into Tundra's jungle. Gonna get full shackle, gets off the Infernal Blade. Dubu's here as well, has yet to pop the heal. Stockton now getting chased by a Pine Cone, and he will die to the Void. 9, Swashbuckle the safety, looks like he's good to go. So TSM, I mean, that's the one thing about TSM that I don't think anybody questions, is their ability to come back from even if it's a devastating loss, which I don't know if you want to call that first game that, but they've come back from horrible losses and looked extremely strong in the following games.
And they've also come back from really bad positions in games, right? Which was how they got here in the first place.
Right.
Against Gaming Gladiators, they recovered from 2 pretty rough mid games, I would say, overall.
Yeah, they were horribly behind in both games. As Tomato, you can see the smoke from Tundra. Ooh, he's going to go to the high ground. You see the trap is in the area there, and he's going to TP out. So A-OK for him. And Pango has the Orb of Corrosion. Skeeter working on the Yasha, so first item will be Manta. Very standard stuff, of course. Saberlight, when do you want to see the Blink Dagger on him? Does it require the BKB and the Shard before you go for something like that? Because like you said, the Crippling Fear extremely strong this game.
Well, they're going to dive right, so we're going to wait on that.
Yep, the Coil Expend only onto 1. Saberlight, he's going to get Hex though, and Soxa gets off a Shackle. 33 in the area now as well. Has the Reaper Scythe available. Needs to find the range though, but the Crippling Fear continually to silence him along with the Doom, but used in a very defensive manner. So position 2 supports for 2 supports. Looks like that is going to be enough, as Saberlight sticking around a little bit longer. And actually in the tree line will TP out to safety, so nicely done.
Awesome play there from Saberlight to identify that he could go for that and still get out after. Had an escape plan flying over the trees right before the Dark Ascension ended, so...
Rolling Thunder mid. Tomato is going to get caught for now. Skeeter trying to position himself. Very annoying cliff area. He puts him onto the low ground here. Tomato shackled. Swashbuckle, no, he doesn't have enough mana for it. I don't know if they have enough damage to actually get a kill here, but Soxa with the ult, come out, beautifully done. Tomato bursted down, and now Moon Meander stuck in the wrong place, wrong time. Last right click from Skeeter, double kill for him. As 33 with the Ghost Route, slowing Dubu. They have no more follow-up. Either way, 2 good kills for Tundra.
That looked like that wasn't going to end very well for Tundra. 9 knocked the TA up on the high ground, and then he caught her and knocked her down on the low ground. So he kept like spending a lot of time without getting the full combo, but the Shaman Ward Trap, huge there from Soxa. Just gets rid of Refraction immediately as well and just brings it down with the Mystic
smoke
Snake.
Immediately, looking for a potential kill onto Saberlight. 9 with the haste. He's going to be spotted temporarily. And Dubu, he's going to be the sacrifice.
Well, he might live.
Centaur actually gets a nice stomp to cancel that channeling from Soxa. And here come the reinforcements. Tundra now on the run. Inkswell connects onto Bryle. Got the Soulbind onto 2 to follow. As this might create enough space for most of Tundra to get out. Snake King, he'll be left to his own devices. So they do find 1. Soxa, okay, he is perpetually slowed here. Gets off the Shackle. Here comes the Swash as well. But Saberlight with the Crippling Fear. Looks like 2 support kills in favor of TSM.
Kind of surprising that Bryle did not coil the Pango there. Maybe felt like they didn't have enough in the tank to get that done, or he was expecting an extended fight where he could find more targets, but they still get the 2 supports and they get out alive, so can't complain too much about that, I'm sure.
Man, this Centaur has got a lot of stomps in him, I have to say. But the TP out, so Skeeter will be taking this Ancient Stack, and You'll be very happy for that. So
I bet Doob was going to do it one more time. It's coming. It's coming.
that Centaur, here it comes. Oh, yeah, that feels good. And he's going to die shortly after, but he lived well. Huh?
Not done yet.
Yeah, that's true. There's another stomp
Yes,
in
one
him.
more.
All right. Oh, he took over another creep. He didn't live his full destiny. Oh, man, he just gets buried in the ground. Disgusting creature. But he lived a good life, Cinderin. And we'll remember him for the next 5 seconds. As smoke now from TSM. You can see Moon Meander working on the Blink Dagger. Just about 600 away. They might find Snake King again. There's a crippling Fear Infernal Blade and the coil onto the mid Pango. This is going to be 2 quick kills for TSM and a tier 1 tower as well.
Starting to build themselves into one of those formidable mid-game positions that we've seen from them a lot of the time. Question is if they can keep it together this time and not, or rather, I'm saying that wrong. They've been pretty good at containing their leads. It's been Gaming Gladiators that were a little bit shaky in that series that they had against TSM the other day, but TSM themselves, when they have this Night Stalker advantage, the games that we've seen from them have actually been very consistent, so. All right, Saberlight kills a courier. They're going to TP down the Necrophos, and he just needs to get the hell out of there. Soxa guessing that he would have gone south, but he ran up north and TP'd away and will stay safe. BKB now 300 gold away for Saberlight. Honestly, I think this is going to be really difficult nighttime coming up for Tundra.
Yeah.
It's going to be a 5-minute night with Night Stalker having the full duration BKB. And Roshan being up for grabs as well, with TA on the Radiant side. You kind of feel like you might have to contest it, but you just can't against the superior vision. Pretty sure TSM are going to take this very soon, no problem.
And that's going to align with Tomato's Desolator as well, so it is going to be, like you said, very impactful time for TSM. The question is, what does Tundra have coming in the near future? Looks like Manta is done on the Medusa. Pango's had the defusal for a bit. Looks like he's going for Halberd next.
Yep.
And the Necrophos has the drums. Will not be going Boots of Bearing, unfortunately, unless he wants 2 boots. I guess it's possible.
I wonder why...
Top lane, though. Going to be an easy kill for Bryle. I say that. Okay, finally gets it, but the Phantom's Embrace was there.
Easy kill for Saberlight. You have to press 1 button.
True.
They're going to get the tower. There's no way they can defend this Tundra. They're going to give it up. I wonder why 33 is not... Oh, he did buy the shard. Okay, I was like, is he not going to get it? But he did get the Death Seeker. Amazing item against TA. Can effectively E-Blade an ally for 1,400 gold for a while. Get that nice bit of extra value as well when you're going for an aggressive kill. And now, as expected,
the Roche pit.
It is time with the Deso, and with Night Stalker being around with BKB, they feel very safe. Triple meld.
Yeah, it's pretty dirty. And we can see on the mini-map that Tundra not really in a position to contest. They do smoke, but they're going to be too late. So Aegis for Tomato and TSM looking really strong in this game number 2, trying to extend it to a 3rd and final game in this upper bracket finals.
The smoke from Tundra could backfire really hard if they run into the right, or into the wrong hero rather.
Oh, that's the Centaur again. It's a descendant from the last one, Cinderin. They're fearing him. Bryle, instant Hex though. The Centaur not in position to cancel this. The Reaper Scythe is there. Bryle Dunzo.
Great read from Tundra. I thought they were going to continue moving in and maybe run into the Ench and get their smoke broken, but they were baiting that wave for Bryle. Get a quick Hex.
Snake King, he's going to go high ground and get instantly destroyed. Trying to get off a D ward, will do so.
I feel like every time Snake King has been on camera, he just gets ganked. Hasn't he died like 5 times in a row to basically these 2 heroes?
As long as he gets the D ward, I'm sure he's fine.
He's having a rough one. He is really poor. Like, this is reminding me of, you know, good old position 6.
Oh, yeah.
He is less than half the net worth of the least, or the second least poor.
I think if you go to Wikipedia, your pro player career lists you as position 6 as instant Hex. Onto Tomato. Remember, he does have the Aegis. Very little mana to work with, though. The Shackle onto the Doom, but that's going to be the sacrifice onto Soxa instead. So Tundra getting turned around now. Doom applied right now. And that is going to be a dead Pango as well. So TSM seemingly everywhere. And they cancel the TP of Skeeter. Completely surrounded and brought down in turn. TSM not even having to expend the Aegis this time around. Looking extremely good.
Saberlight starting to get to work on this bottom tier 1 tower with the level 2 Dark Ascension. He hits really hard. This tower is, he's just soloing it, no problem. 18 armor, 300 damage. Why not?
Yep, I mean, everybody else is dead, so why not indeed? And Tomato looking to do some chip damage at the very least to this tier 2 tower. I say that, but that is the rally skeletons. Very fearsome indeed. Now you got the minus armor to work with.
That ain't chip damage. Every time there's a Dark Troll Summoner nearby.
Yeah, we got fresh skellies ready to go. This requires the full defensive Tundra to take out these 2 skeletons. Oh! And a swashbuckler. All right, they're dead.
TSM are thinking about this.
Gets off his ult just in time as Saberlight with a BKB crippling fear, but looking to go on to 33. He will be saved. You can see the Soulbind now connected to 2. Nice Rolling Thunder continuing on, but looks like Rasta is going to be the first to fall, and Tundra looked to be on the retreat. You can see the coil only going to connect onto 1 here, but that's another support kill in favor of TSM. Moon Meander getting bursted down quite low. Saberlight with a nice crippling fear, keeping Duo at bay. The Pango attempting to get out, but 9 taken out by the illusory orb. Bryle with the double kill as Skeeter looking to stand his ground. They'll finally get a kill in the form of Dubu. Looks like Saberlight died shortly before that as well. And the Aegis finally going to go down, but now you got to worry about a full Tomato HP. Bryle looks like he's going to try to get away. Tomato left all alone now, so this will be a nice turnaround from Tundra, and looks like they'll find that position 1 TA.
Oh, yeah, good reaction from them. They get a lot of value out of having...
Oh, they actually find the puck as well. Soxa with the ward trap. Shackle is going to be enough indeed. Big kill from Tundra. Just finding these TSM members kind of scattered about the map.
That's huge. I think they just pulled back 2 or 3K disadvantage from that move. Finding the 2 kills on the Aegis TA, using the buyback of Grimstroke to ensure that they can grab that fight victory. And Medusa is starting to prove a little bit troublesome for them to kill. Like, they use so many resources after they find the initial kills to try to get Skeeter's mana bar down, and it just takes forever to get there. Obviously, having to deal with the Pango lucky shot as well is going to be a problem. So not easy for TSM.
And that helped Skeeter a lot. He was middle of the pack for net worth. Now he's top 3. So an absolute world of difference for him. 33 using that Death Seeker to help push that wave as TSM defending now. And looking for the jump, Soxa. And we saw him last game on that Doom. Obviously not quite the same hero, but still has that Blink Hex, which has set up a couple kills now in this mid game.
It's going to be a Halberd on 9 next fight as well. He's got 700 gold to go for that, so that will give them another tool against TA. Tomato will be making BKB as his next item. Obviously, will protect him from the disarms if he pre-uses it, but there's a good chance that Tundra, if they do get the jump initially, or if the fight goes long enough, it can negate a lot of Tomato's impact with this item pickup from Pango.
4K lead for TSM. Skeeter with that Dragon Lance now, working towards the Scotty. You can see the net worth there for the position 1s. Was originally night and day, but you can see Skeeter has caught up essentially. Just about 2K behind now. And Saberlight, okay, he did finish the BKB. I thought he was going for Blink Dagger. In fact, he was, but he changed it now to a Nullifier. So obviously the Necrophos gets hard countered by that. And 33, I mean, he does have a BKB, but yeah,
it's just necessary in this game. I think Necro has to buy BKB to deal with the Night Stalker sound, to deal with the puck. And the added benefit is that you can do something about Nullifier, right? Obviously, the Ghost Shroud is going to be limited in use, but if he tanks up with other items, buys maybe a Shiva's Guard or something, he might be just fine. All right.
Oh, Tomato, big initiation. Snake King deleted. 32 to the BKB. Will he be able to get out? Not quite enough damage. It was close, though. And TSM, they only find 1, but still. That's a long death time. They must have bought back recently. That was like 70 seconds on Grim.
Yeah, that mid-tier 2 fight was where Snake King came back. So they have a decent amount of time now for a 5v4 power play. No Roche, though. See if they can find anything with it. Nice trap onto Soxa.
Yep, he's looking to be dead. 33 gets off the Death Seeker to prevent any physical damage coming out, but it's only going to delay the inevitable. Saberlight pops the BKB. Looks like he did opt for the Blink Dagger, so changing his mind again, as he does have that shard, so he can eat that delicious tomato.
Can't believe you said that, out of all people.
I regret it already. 5K lead for TSM. But this is against a Medusa. I mean, how would you say TSM's lineup works late game, going against some monstrous creature like this? The Skeeter, Infernal Blade, and he's going to have to pop his ult. Wants to apply a little bit of pressure, but looks like he's going to have to back up now as Moon Meander is fine with that exchange.
That was actually just a complete bait from Moon. There was no way in hell to kill him, but he doesn't have the information about what rotations are coming over, so we'll do the safe play there and pop the Stone Gaze, and they also get a TP out of, I believe it was 33, coming to that bot lane. Has travels though, so it doesn't really matter too much. Yeah, how do TSM approach late game? I think whenever you have Doom, you always have options, right? If you can Doom the key targets at the right time, and you have, once again, you have that vision superiority that's really going to help you find that Doom first. I'm not really too worried about their potential of going late, even though it might look a little bit daunting playing against both Medusa and Necrophos late game. I do think the solutions are there. It's all about getting that initial jump and itemizing wisely.
And Tomato does have the BKB, even though he's queued up another one. Don't think you're going to do that. But the smoke now from Tundra. Looking to pounce. Obviously the next Roshan not up for, looks like 30 seconds. Of course, they know it could be up at this point. There is a trap showing for TSM, so at least they have some information. Saberlight has to pop the BKB. He breaks the smoke. Looks like Dubu's the original initiation here, but the Doom applied to 33. Is this enough? Indeed, the last right click from Tomato, as TSM were more than ready for this. And this could lead to another Roche. It looks like Saberlight will get a double kill for himself. So just like that, only 2 members of Tundra available.
And Roche spawns the second they kill the third hero.
And they see it because of the trap.
They have a trap there.
The second Roche, and into the pit they shall go.
So this is the problem for Necrophos in a game like this, is that, keep in mind they last picked this, right? They knew the entire lineup of what they were facing, but he feels like he has to buy BKB against some of these heroes, but then he doesn't have Lincolns against the Doom. If you get doomed as Necrophos, your hero's pretty worthless. Like, you don't offer very much in the way of just good stats or anything. He gets the BKB off in time, which was a good reaction, but gets essentially 5-shot here by Tomato with the TH. Such a great single target physical damage output from him. And you have to itemize for this as Doom now, but now you're in this awkward spot. What are you going to buy? Are you going to try for Lincolns or are you going to try for the armor?
Right.
It kind of feels like you need both and a BKB.
Which is interesting because this was a last pick Necro.
Yeah.
Right?
So I don't know, maybe they ran out of options that they feel comfortable with on the patch, or the other ones felt even worse, but it's definitely not an obvious Necro game, this one, against both Doom and Enchantress.
And the Shard coming out from TA, so the silence is there, trying to bait out 33's BKB. He's not going to fall for it, though. Saberlight already used the Crippling Fear. And looks like Dubu is who they want to go for. Gets 4-staffed. He's very tanky indeed. Another triple silence with that trap. Very annoying to deal with his Saberlight. Working on the back line. Coil is there as well. Onto a couple of heroes. They will find Soxa to start out this fight, but that Soulbind onto 2. Skeeter just beating away at this Night Stalker. Is that it was technically a double Reaper Scythe, but that is just the Aegis. And the buyback now onto Saberlight. The disarm onto TA, so he can't fight quite yet. Moonman are kind of stuck in a terrible spot right now, but the Crippling Fear blinking from Saberlight as he bought back into this game. Looks like they're going to delete Snaking on top of that. And now Skeeter getting silenced some more. Saberlight onto the high ground he goes, still with that ultimate activated. And another silence onto the Necrophos. Cannot do anything on this Necrophos, but he pops the BKB and dies shortly after. Tundra just dropping like flies now, as now the focus is on to 9. He is dead. Skeeter, the last remaining member. Will he stand his ground? Not a whole lot of HP to work with for TSM. And Skeeter attempting to get out. There's the blink in with the Crippling Fear. Skeeter. This is a 1v4 situation. Tomato forced to pop that BKB. Finally draining enough mana from Skeeter, but Soxa has respawned. So TSM going to have to leave the raid boss alone.
It felt like the game plan or the fight plan there toward the end for TSM was to try to bait out buybacks, right? But Skeeter was confident that he could survive that alone with Soxa about to respawn on the Shadow Shaman, and they have to give in and go back for TSM. Still a good fight overall, though. Find a couple of key kills once again. Don't really progress the game too much with that, but considering that they got, like you said, Soulbound and Reapered with their 2 cores, I think you can be pretty satisfied with that end outcome out when all said and done.
And Dubu able to TP out here just to get some mana refresh. Saberlight, we talked about the Shard already, but a really good way to kind of refresh himself from time to time. Pretty low cooldown overall on that as well, as we're watching the initial replay. I think the Reaper Scythe came out just as Saberlight died.
Yeah.
But the animation did go on both still. The dead corpse of the Night Stalker, double dead. If only it was like the old days where it prevented buyback. That would have been a completely
if only.
story. I am a Necrophos player, as you can tell. 4-man smoke from TSM.
Where are you going?
Looking for an opening. They weren't able to force out too many buybacks here from Tundra, but still with that 11k lead, they should feel somewhat comfortable. Where Skeeter is that raid boss that you just have a real hard time dealing with.
He cannot go up here. He is.
He's going to
fine
pop
with
the
the idea.
Smoke. Okay, Infernal Blade. That is a lot of damage. Saberlight on the back line, though, focusing on the supports with the BKB Crippling Fear. As you see the Doom applied to Skeeter. The Hurricane Pike is there as well. Not enough damage to take him out in turn, though. And now the Rolling Thunder from 9. Keeping Tomato in that high ground situation, but 9 just getting right-clicked down by Bry on that double damage, as this Crippling Fear is doing absolute work. Reaper Scythe is enough with the Death Seeker combination to take out Saberlight. He is dead for quite a while, but 33 dies shortly after. Now the chase onto Moon Meander. Looks like he gets that Glimmer Cape off, but 9 gets the vision. Wants to try to reset, but Bryle is here with the Waning Rift, but instant Hex from Saksa, and Skeeter with that ult, that is going to be enough. Bryle hits the deck. Dubu looks to be fine. A lot of back and forth in these fights.
Dude, that was actually just perfect timing from Tundra on that counterplay on the puck. So Lincoln's was on cooldown, and the moment it came up, I think it got broken by the Diffusal Blade of 9 so that it could also shackle. If that Lincoln's isn't broken immediately after, I think Bryle still gets out of that. And this looked like it was going to be an insanely good fight for TSM. They get the entire mana pool of Dusa down almost immediately, have her doomed, but she still managed to somehow reposition out. Even with Saberlight having the silence on 2 or 3 heroes for quite a while there, this Night Stalker is paying huge dividends for them in this game. Currently 14-3 and 14 on the NS. I don't know if you realize he's having that good of a game, but
yeah,
absolutely destroying them. It still ends up with the Tundra staying alive and defending their Medusa once more.
It did cost them 2 buybacks onto supports that time, so if TSM can find themselves in a similar position, they can potentially go high ground, knowing that some of these buybacks are not available.
Yeah, for sure. If the supports are dead, this is a walk in the park for them to get Alina Barracks. The only control they have to worry about is Pango. I guess you have to be a little bit concerned about the Death Seeker Reaper combination, but you do have Glimmer Cape on Dubu, and you have the Lincolns on Puck, so both of those can protect the core that gets gone on in case they do get some sort of insane Rolling Thunder combination on defense.
And the next Roche, not for quite a while. Obviously,
now as well for Duke.
TSM is the team with the advantage in the Roshan, not only for taking it, but for the vision as well. As Tundra now, full team smoke.
Doom is available again. If this was only 20 seconds earlier, then they would have not have to worry about that really key spell, but now they still have to.
And Tomato, he feels it. Saberlight as well. They're quite close. Dubu wants to tank this gank as he always does, it seems. And Saberlight positioning himself next to a ward, pops his ult, so breaks that smoke for a couple of heroes now. Silence onto the Grimstroke, Snake King. Okay, Crippling Fear blinking from Saberlight, focusing again on the supports, knowing that these buybacks are not available. So down goes the first for Tundra. Coil onto 9, but he pops that roll up, and the Rolling Thunder, not even needed. Just swashes right out of it, and shield crashes to safety. But that is a Saberlight ultimate used. I mean, what is the day-night cycle right now? I can't even tell. We'll find out shortly.
That's a nice looking green glow on the cosplay.
Yes. Tomato and company looking to take this tier 2 tower, but a TP is coming in from Tundra, 33. Slightly late to the party, but I mean, he has a Ghost Scepter on top of his... oh, okay. Saberlight jumping in.
He is in
trying to keep it at bay,
trouble.
but yeah, it is now daytime, and he is quite worthless. The Reaper Scythe, not quite enough, but Saberlight ends up getting the cancel on the TP via 9, who goes in really deep. Shield Crash is enough, but he's going to be taken out very shortly after. So 1 for 1. I think TSM actually take that. Sox is somehow able to get out. I believe that was a 33 Death Seeker to keep him alive. The Skeeter now. You can see that Witchblade doing some work against this Medusa, but still. so farmed on him. Is again, you talked about
on
this before.
camera.
Snake King is dead. Doesn't get the D ward this time, Syndra.
He is not having fun, I think, in this one. Up to 14 deaths.
Wow.
In this position. I mean, I will say the Night Stalker matchup for Grimstroke is really, really rough if you don't get Soulbind on him. Like, it's just, he's going to pop his ult, he's going to pop Sounds and go on you. And look at the itemization that Snake King has been forced into. Boots, triple bracer.
Yeah, I looked at
whatever he
that,
can.
and then I looked away immediately because I don't want to see it anymore. Waning Rift onto 2. Force Staff, he actually breaks the coil on the Medusa, but he doesn't really have to worry. Does have to worry about his support as Soxa gets blown up. And with 25 seconds with Night Stalker coming back, and obviously the vision in the pit, we'll see if this Rasta being down is enough for them to go for the Roshan.
I think that previous fight from Tundra, the Night Stalker, it's very understandable that they commit onto him how they do, right? It looked like a possible kill. They know he doesn't have ult, they know he doesn't have BKB. The problem was Dubu, basically with a masterclass in defensive support play there, gets the perfect Glimmer Cape onto the Reaper side, forces him onto the high ground, and while they do get him in the end, the amount of resources and how out of position Pango has to get that kill results in the tie. And now with the aftermath of this, finding the Shaman and a double damage rune for Tomato, no problem for them to get Roche. And there's a shard on this one, as always,
as you tend
to say.
I genuinely think there's some RNG in the game that tilts towards, it's like a 75-25 refresher shard on third Roche. Would love to see some actual statistics to prove me wrong, but I know they don't exist, so I'm just going to assume I'm correct on this. But yeah, refresher shard on Doom, obviously Double Doom pretty strong. Got the cheese onto Night Stalker. I mean, he's been dying in Reaper's sight, so he might have to pop it like at 60% HP to live, which could be tricky.
Yeah. There's a Wraith Pact in play now, though. That's going to help.
True.
On Moon Meander.
The Wraith Pact. Nullifier, so no buyback available for Saberlight. He's going straight for that bad boy. And that is going to counteract the Ghost Shroud and multiple Ghost Scepters that Tundra have in their lineup right now. Tier 2 tower is theirs, and this is going to be essentially a 20k net worth lead for TSM. This 33 getting off a ward. He has to be careful, though, and he's just dead. He's just dead, plain and simple. That was the first Doom used. Could Refresher Shard, might just wait. We'll see.
Yeah, doesn't have the most mana left to work with right now, Moon Meander. He has 14 on the wand. But obviously his mana regen is not the greatest. When you have the Refresher Orb, you have a lot of mana regen to get off that second ult. Obviously it also costs to use the Orb, but right now it will take him quite a while to be able to use all his spells again in succession.
Interesting. Nullifier on Medusa this game, on the other side.
Wait, how did he just get a lot of mana? Did he send out mangoes, or?
It's a great question, Syndra. He did pop his wand, so...
Wand and some mangoes, I guess?
The 14 charges there.
Maybe it was just the wand. All right. Well,
Swift
he's
link
ready.
on to Tomato now. Still 3 minutes with the Aegis. Just trying to get the ward control in their favor. As map has been in their favor for quite a while now. Kind of starving Tundra out to a degree. Okay, coil, but there's the instant roll-up. That is interesting to say the least. I don't know if you want to push without coil now. So some miscommunication from TSM trying to go high ground as Saberlight poking the tier 3 top, but this is going to be a really hard high ground, I feel like, even with a 20k lead, especially without coil.
Yeah, you can control the map exceptionally well with these heroes, though. You can put TA traps in all the lanes. You have Night Stalker at nighttime. There's still 3 minutes left until natural day, and then you're going to have Dark Ascension again. So effectively, what's that, 3.5 minutes roughly of night still remaining? Just keep pushing the waves, keep out farming. It's terrifying for Tundra to go anywhere on the map right now. They have no information, and they can just get absolutely blasted by TA together with Night Stalker's Nullifier. Nobody is safe.
And Skeeter, it feels, is almost capped out on items as well. I mean, obviously Bloodthorn can come out, Hurricane Pike, maybe you switch Treads for something.
So you're saying he has 4 items left to go. Almost capped
He can consume an Aghanim Scepter, he can get the Shard, but he's basically out of room here, Syndra.
Effectively about 20k net worth to go, and then he's done. You're right.
Quite a ways to go in terms of room for Miss Medusa. Maybe we can get a persona that is Mr. Medusa in the future.
With a top hat.
What? Okay, we're just going to ignore that. And that see him sleeping? That is your joke in a nutshell right there.
Oh.
That young man is not happy. So we have a smoke from
When's
TSM.
OG playing?
Yeah, pretty much. This is the upper bracket finals. Let's hear some roar from the crowd. Yeah!
Yo, maybe he woke up now. He's
maybe.
like, whoa, what happened?
Can we? Oh, Mumian is going to jump in, focusing on this Medusa. The Doom is there as well. And again, the Crippling Fear in the back line. But the Nullifier counteracting this Ghost Scepter. Still not enough to take out Soxa, though. 9 gets off that Rolling Thunder. Shackle coming out from Soxa. A nice roll from 9 overall, but Soxa gets off the Shackle finally, but finally dies in the end. Moonmeander is going to be the trade, but so many buybacks to work with. And yeah, Peter ends up ticking out to the Doom. So that is a huge kill for TSM, but still buybacks to work with. Saberlight going deep. There's the buyback onto the Rasta, but the instant Reaper Scythe destroying Saberlight. But there's the buyback that they were looking for onto the Medusa. And see how much Tundra can get out of this buyback overall. It's looking like just Dubu. So I think TSM is actually okay with it. I mean, this is a slow-ass kill, I won't lie. Eventually, Dubu will die.
Yep, okay. The Dusa buyback is obviously huge, but again, Tundra are holding on, and now the Aegis will expire. So this indirect man advantage will be gone for TSM in the next fight unless they manage to get a free Roche beforehand. Oh, Bryle.
Yeah, we got a TP coming in though. Bryle, I think,
okay.
is, I would hope for TSM's sake, not going to go in here. Of course, TSM looking to even this series and push it to the limit for the upper bracket finals of the Stockholm Major. And we'll see if they're able to pull this game number 2 through.
Tier 4 neutral item found here. Aesthetics cap. Is there anyone that this is really good on in this game for the stats list? I guess we might want that on Night Stalker over Penta-Edged. I don't know. Penta-Edged is also pretty good for him, though. Maybe you just don't take it all. They're putting it on Dubu of all heroes. Okay.
25 talent on Bryle now, by the way. The old Aghanim Scepter piercing BKB is a huge deal this game.
And Pango roll.
You can still use roll up though, right?
Yeah.
And then just, but when you Pango roll out or swashbuckle out in that form, you still get stunned now.
Yeah.
So that's the big difference. Dark Ascension cooldown, okay.
Yeah, so this 25 talent selection for Night Stalker, both talents are absolutely incredible. So it's actually not that easy of a choice to make. Do you want very low cooldown on your ult, so you cut it down to 80? Or do you want 100 attack speed, which is essentially, what's that, 3/4 of a free Moonshard that you don't even need an item slot for?
Yep.
He will opt for the cooldown reduction so that they have as much of a grip on the map as possible and they can keep playing aggressively. But we'll lose that extra output that could be the difference between a kill or not in the team fights.
That is the TSM banner. As we have a smoke now from both sides, not the full team though. And again, a couple big buybacks missing for Tundra, so this is TSM's chance to firmly put this game in the bag and extend it to a game 3. E-Blade now onto the puck. As we are starting to see some I mean, I will be very happy if this game goes to 60 minutes, as you know, Cinderin. The tier 5 items are very exciting, but we won't get there yet. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. This is a 23k lead for TSM, but we've seen the high ground defense time and time again. Anytime it's against a Medusa. I mean, how would you rate Tundra's high ground defense in general?
It's pretty strong for sure. I think the fact, though, that TSM have these multiple ways of dealing with the Ghost Shroud as well as the Death Seeker and Ghost Scepters makes them more likely to be successful at sieging high ground. Uh-oh. Might not have to finish that point here. This would be a big moment if they find this wraparound. The drawing here from TSM looks like a good path to take right now.
Yeah, follow the courier. They know
nice sunglasses, bro.
Bruh. Saberlight looking for that blink nullifier, which has proven to be extremely strong. There's the Saberlight ult coming from the north. And focusing onto Soxa again, and you can see the Doom already applied to the Medusa, who's kind of isolated right now. Very little mana to work with, and Skeeter is just getting bursted down. No buyback on the Medusa. TSM looking extremely strong. 33, barely gets Moon Meander, but dies shortly after as a double kill for Saberlight, and Pango left as the last remaining member of Tundra, but not for long. Double kill for Bryle, and TSM looking primed and ready to extend this to a game number 3.
All right, Shannon, if you want your 60-minute neutral items, you need to put on your biggest copium hat that you have around. And you
Yep, that is true.
I don't know what you need to do for this.
3 buybacks on the Tundra, but it's not the Medusa. That is the important factor, is that, yeah, they're just going to go straight for the throne. They know Medusa does not have buyback.
3/4,
could
they're
dive.
still hitting.
Yep.
All right, a little
Tier
bit of
4.
respect here.
Deathseeker just going to delay the inevitable, which is a mid-Rax, and we expect more to come.
Plenty of time here for TSM, and they're going to have Dark Ascension again because of the talent selection from Saberlight.
Yeah, Bryle, Coil only on the 1, but it is on that Pango, and the Nullifier to follow, so no shield crash for you. Down goes Pango, a dieback. And now 33 trying to limp back to the base, but he's going to die in all likelihood with that last Void from Saberlight. And that should do it as GG's come out. TSM extend the upper bracket finals to a 3rd game.
I love how they played the map in this game, just being super aggressive, identifying that Tundra's lineup needs time. They need to build up this Medusa, they need to build up the Necro. And the man on your screen right now, well, not that guy, but the guy we saw right before, Saberlight, instrumental in this victory. Just his Night Stalker, we saw it earlier in the tournament as well, it's just been absolutely incredible. Basically nobody else is playing this hero that I've seen.
Yeah.
There's maybe been less than a handful of games played by other teams. Saberlight, his standout hero so far. His performances on other heroes have varied. He's generally been pretty stable, but the Night Stalker, just for me, S tier. Every game he gets it when they pick it late, he delivers.
We talked about it, that the crippling fear, if you're able to get a Blink Dagger, it is so value this game. Not just for taking out supports, but heroes like Pango do not like they can't itemize against it pretty much. I mean, you're not going to get a BKB on Pango.
You might have had to.
Yeah, looking back, but then you're against the Doom. It just feels like it's such a good lineup this game for TSM. And Saberlight ends it 18